Yep.
So thanks, everyone. My name is Alyssa Mahood, and I'm a planner with the City of Hamilton's Community Planning section. Now I'm going to begin the presentation tonight just with a brief introduction about our study, and then I'm going to hand it over to Calvin Brooke and his team at Brooke McElroy. They are the consultants who are helping the city with this study, and most of you probably would recognize them because they're the team that worked with us on the Pier 7 and 8 urban design guidelines. So as you know, the city is carrying out right now an urban design study for lands referred to as Block 16 on Pier 8. And these are the lands that are located just east of the Discovery Center. They're currently designated institutional in the Setting Sail Secondary Plan. As Herman had mentioned, this study is a result of an LPAT settlement decision between the city, Waterfront Shores, which is the approved developer for the Pier 8 lands, and the North End Neighbourhood residents. So the settlement requires that the city brings forward for council's consideration an official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment that will redesignate the institutional block, which is Block 16, to permit residential or mixed use in a mid-rise or high-rise form. So the settlement also stipulates that regardless of the proposed increase in height for this block, the total number of residential units across Pier 8 will not increase. So it will remain at the agreed upon number of 1,645 units maximum. However, as the number of permitted stories does increase, the number of family units would increase relative to that. So as you can see here, where there's an additional 4 stories permitted on that block, you would see an additional 25 family units, and then up to 31 plus stories, there would be an additional 150 family units provided across the Pier 8 site. So in order to fulfill the minutes of settlement for this project, it has been broken down into 2 phases. So right now we're in phase 1, and this is the urban design study for the block. This will result in an update to the Pier 7 and 8 urban design guidelines to include design direction for Block 16. And then phase 2 will be the official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment for the lands based on the design direction established in phase 1. So the scope of work for phase 1 will include evaluating Block 16 as an opportunity site for increased height and a change in land use designation. So right now we are looking at Block 16 and seeing whether or not what is the potential for redevelopment of that site. And then we'll be developing urban design guidelines and updating the Pier 7 and 8 urban design study. And once this is completed, we will be presenting the update to council for approval. And then phase 2 would be the implementation of the urban design guidelines and an official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment for development on this site. So next, I'd like to hand it over to Calvin Brooke, who is going to talk about some of the concepts that we have been working through over the past couple of months and explain the principles behind what we were thinking for the site. And possibly after that, we can answer some more questions before we hand it over, I guess, to the Waterfront Shores group.